Welcome to Desk Dynamics. This is a podcast where we talk about some of the cool things we're doing in the service desk to move towards our target picture, which is delivering great user experience through expertise and technology. My guest today is Camilla. Camilla, welcome to the podcast. Tell us about yourself.
I spend my days by trying to think of how and what could be improved within service desk via using automation and new technologies. Currently, for example, I am responsible for asking your service desk the chatbot, also the global search, Stealth Symbiont, and from time to time, I'm also involved in running some RPA projects. So the service desk colleagues may be aware of the MFA automation, which is used quite a bit, and shared mailboxes and distribution list automation, which is also used relatively often.
It's an exciting job.
Yeah, I enjoy myself quite a lot.
Very good. So we're here to talk about Ask Neo, and specifically, you've recently Ask Neo is our chatbot in the service desk. That's what we call it, Ask Neo. What have you done with our chatbot recently? That's very exciting.
Right. So basically, we have integrated with generative AI, specifically ChatGPT, in a way that now the chatbot is able to generate written responses, while before it was able to provide just links to responses and relevant KB articles. How it works, basically, first we actually analyze the user question. That one is sent to our database that consists of KB article texts, and then the response and the KB articles are actually returned, and together with the question sent to the GPT, which is then able to generate a relevant response. So there is an opportunity to really make it very user-friendly and very well read by the users.
So ChatGPT is trained on the public internet, and it has a lot of this information that is available publicly. How did we train it on DHL specific knowledge?
Yeah, so basically, we are not able to train it as such, but we are actually able to send it information out of which it is able to compile the response. We also, the digital solutions team has actually came up with a prompt that makes sure that the response actually is made out of only the information we send it, and that the response is also able to admit when the information is not there and the answer is not known.
Because that was going to be my next question. Is it just answering questions based on what it knows from the public internet, and are we able to control that? So we're really able to say, use our knowledge base to answer the questions, and if you don't find the information, then say, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We really do have, for now, a list of specific topics which we are confident the response that is generated is actually reliable. And in the future phases, we are actually going to extend it a bit by bit, perhaps eventually also open it a little bit more to the public knowledge, but we will see how it goes, right? There is a risk.
Sure. And what is the risk?
I think either that it will start hallucinating, right? Just thinking up random answers, plus not all the public knowledge actually correspond to what we have in DHL, right? Very often, for example, some shortcuts may actually mean something different publicly and for the service desk and for DHL.
Fair point. So at this point, you're fairly confident it will not tell us lies.
Yeah, we have tested, tried out with multiple questions, and it's able to say, I don't know.
Right, very good. That's a very good skill to have for a chatbot.
Yeah, I think especially the GPT one.
Yeah. So you're not a ChatGPT expert or an AI expert.
No.
Right? And yet you've managed to work on this exciting project for Ask Neo. So tell me, how did you manage to do that, and how was the experience working on this enhancement?
Yeah, it was very fun and very interesting. And yes, I managed it only thanks to the support of the digital solution team, especially Jan Schlesinger, and then from the service desk team, Vítězslav Stříbrný, who actually worked together to actually make it work from the technical point of view. Right? So I was working on for example, the requirements, how we would like to make it work, how to fit it in the logic of the chatbot as we have it now. And the guys were actually working on the programming and the technical background of it.
Very cool. And it's been now live for about a month,
For a
I
month,
think.
yeah. We want to extend the scope a little bit early next year and actually capture a bit more questions via the GPT-generated responses, which I hope will have a nice influence and impact.
What do you mean capture a bit more questions?
Because as a first phase, we have basically agreed to really start very conservatively with the implementation of the generative AI. And we have a specific list of topics or questions which we actually have inside the dialog flow, which is the brain of the chatbot as we are using it in DHL. And the dialog flow actually knows that for this list of questions, the integration should actually be used. There is a lot of other questions which the users are, of course, asking that the chatbot, for example, does not understand or does not recognize as a known topic, for which we have not yet enabled the integration because we first want to see how it works. When we are super confident the answer is there, and then later on, very probably early next year, we will actually start extending this also to these a little bit unknown and unpredictable questions.
Right. Okay. So give us an idea of the volumes. How many interactions the chatbot is dealing with? How many are actually going through this ChatGPT now?
Yeah. So I think looking at it from monthly point of view, we actually have about 5,000 to 6,000 conversations happening via the chatbot, but not all of them actually end up with any substantial interaction. A lot of time people actually choose to skip the chatbot and interact directly with a service desk agent, which is of course fine. So out of these 6,000, there is about 2,000 conversations which actually generate a creation of a ticket. That means which actually generate any kind of action that is done through the chatbot when it comes to searching for solutions, offering help, etc. And then out of these 2,000, this month, I think about 800 was actually went through the ChatGPT and GenAI response.
Okay. Okay. So even with a conservative start, it's a substantial fraction of the interactions that are going through it, which is good. And you're confident that early next year we'll start to capture more questions, as you say, and extend that. What's next for the chatbot? Once you do that, what's on the roadmap after that?
Yeah, so basically, there are several topics, I think, very specific, right, to our situation. For example, one of the things which we are being asked quite a bit is to actually have the chatbot available also to the business units and countries which are not supported by ITS as a home service desk. There is a bit of a technical challenge, and I think it would make sense to look into it. But yeah, for now and for this year, we have prioritized the integration with generative AI. So there will be time to have a look at it next year.
Okay.
And also, maybe the second point, which is connected to the use of generative AI, is that eventually, sometime in the future, we would like to rely on it a bit more and more and basically make the chatbot more self-sustainable, because right now we actually manually maintain the list of the topics the chatbot knows about and is trained on. And this, of course, takes a lot of effort and may not be always up to date. And if we actually start relying on the generative AI to answer the questions based on the knowledge base, then we actually may not need to maintain so many of the topics within the dialog flow structure.
Right. Because our dialog flow determines the intent of the user, and based on that, it takes some action.
Yeah, exactly.
And right now, the intent is determined before the interaction goes to ChatGPT. But do you think at some point ChatGPT will actually help us determine what the intent is and maybe capture the intent much more accurately than we do now?
Yeah, that's a question. I hope that it will actually end up that way, that basically we will not have the logic of intents that much in the chatbot anymore. It will just be question and answer.
Right.
The question will actually be kind of summarized into what makes sense to search in the knowledge base, and then similarly as we have it now, then the text will actually be chewed over by the ChatGPT and kind of transform into reasonable reply based on the question.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. What's your dream for if you could have anything to ask Neo? What's your ultimate dream for it?
Yeah, I think I would really like to eventually work towards having the back and forth conversation, really as one can do right now with ChatGPT, right, to actually refer to something which was said previously and really have a natural sounding conversation. And yeah, we are not there yet, and we won't be for some time, definitely.
All right, excellent. But at least with ChatGPT coming into the picture, you can see that on the horizon now, can't you?
Yeah, I think so.
That's very exciting. Excellent. So Camilla, what's your view as ChatGPT starts taking more and more, or Ask Neo starts taking more and more of these interactions, and it becomes more like a normal human interaction? How does that change the work of the service desk agents, do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. uh, in general, in the team, we hope that this will help to reduce the repetitive and boring tasks. And that's the main goal of the Ask Neo service desk from the beginning. And now, hopefully, this could actually bring a noticeable change for the agents as well. And then this would mean that there would be a bit more opportunity for the service desk agents to self-develop or work on a bit more complex issues.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to what this thing has to offer us. As you said, it's still early days, so we keep an eye on it and see how it develops over the next months.
Yeah.
And we see what the users are saying about it as they use it more and more as well. So that's great. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Diller, for inviting me.